Right, good day everybody and welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. So today's video is a bit of a reply to Skeggy Cruiser on the subject of age when it comes to motovlogging. He mentioned in one of his recent videos that either someone had mentioned or that sometimes people mention, aren't you a little bit too old to be doing something like motovlogging? And in a way I understand, but at the same time I don't agree. It's one of those things. It's like when people see older people, and when I say older people, older generations of myself, I'm 30, so when I say older, I'm talking about people in their late 40s, early 50s, or maybe even older than that, using technology. I think it's people are under the misconception that a lot of people in the older generation that wasn't brought up with technology or wasn't in the era of technology should be using it, or the fact that they're awful at using it or not very good at using it, so therefore they can't use it, which is obviously bullshit. But so no, my thoughts is no one's too old or too young to be motovlogging. I believe that if you're going to be motovlogging, if you've got subjects to talk about or if you've got interesting things to talk about, it doesn't matter how old you are. Personally myself, I appreciate talking to older bikers, a generation that was around before motovlogging, before sat-navs, before fuel injection, and it's nice to talk to a lot of people that are a little bit more open-minded about bikes. The only bikers that I do not like or I do not get along with are bitter bikers, which unfortunately a lot of the time it tends to be older Harley riders. Older Harley riders, riders that bought into the Harley lifestyle at a young age and kind of stuck with Harley. I'm not saying all of them, because I know quite a few Harley riders that are great guys and great girls as well. It's just generally the misconception that all Harley riders are dicks. They're not, but it tends to be that most of the people that I find are quite bitter old men, they tend to ride Harleys. Those are the people that I don't get along with, those that are under the assumption that if you don't ride a Harley you're not a proper biker. I don't care what anyone says, I'm on a scooter. I've been riding for years, and because of past events, I've kind of been downgraded to a scooter. And you know what, I am still a biker regardless whether I'm on a scooter or a big bike. And I think it comes down to a respect thing. I think with bikers, when you respect another rider, it doesn't matter whether they are 60, 70, 80, or whether they've only just got onto a little 50cc. That's one thing I do love about biking. Well, not the biggest thing, but one of the things I love about biking is the community. Being able just to see a biker or meet up with a biker that you've never met before, start talking to them as if you've known him for ages, and that's one of the things I love about it. I'll give you an example. You've got Moto Trooper 99. I've never met him before, and he had messaged me a couple of times on YouTube. We messaged about, talking just generally in comments, and then we just said, hey, let's hook up. And he came down to Derby, came to meet him. I'd never met him before. We sat there chatting away as if we've been mates forever. And I think that's something you only really get in the biking community. And the only people that let the community down is bitter old men. But that's nothing to do with the biking community. That's just them in general. If they're going to be bitter, they're going to be bitter whatever they're on. And obviously, if they're on a bike, they're going to be bitter about other bikers. So they're the only few people that I don't get on with when it comes to motovlogging. They're the only ones that I think they're just too old to be anywhere. When you become bitter, you're just too old to be part of society. But as far as it goes with motovlogging, no, you're not too old. There's a couple of people, even like Skeggy said, that are quite young, and some of the people that are old that he follows. I follow Skeggy. He's a very, very old man. He's a bit of a dinosaur now. I'm only joking, Skeg. Do you know what I mean? He's a lot older than me. And then there are kids that I follow. Someone there, when I say kids, I'm talking 16 and 17-year-olds. Some of them have just gone to a 50cc scooter. Others have only just got onto a 125. And I follow them because they generally talk about things that I'm interested in. They've got interesting routes that they ride on, so it doesn't matter whether I'm listening to someone who's 80 years old or someone who's 16 or 17 years old. If I'm interested in their content, I'm interested in them. It's not an age thing. I really don't think the age thing matters when it comes to the biking community. I think the only time some people feel it matters is if they're not doing something themselves. For example, if they say about motovlogging, saying, oh boy, it's pointless, why follow that person, he's too old for it, you shouldn't be doing that, you're too old. Generally these are people that don't even do it themselves. They don't know where to begin, and sometimes it's envy, sometimes it's bitterness. It all depends. But again, personally myself, no. Listening to any biker, anybody that's on two wheels and an engine, that rides around and talks about bikes, talks about what they're doing, they're going places that are of interest to me, you know, I'm more than happy to sit and watch and listen to them. And then when it comes to in person or even online, I'm happy to have a conversation with them. And another reply to Skeggy, as far as your new camera angle, yeah, I liked it, mate. It was a little bit different having an ankle cam. I'll tell you where would be nice, which I'd like to see, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do it myself for a while on the XVS due to having forward controls on it, or even floorboard extensions, is mounting it to your crash bar, so you've got part of your wheel and suspension in there and the front fender in there, and also seeing down the road, or doing it the same way around but pointed back up to you, so you're getting kind of like like looking at the bike halfway down the back. How I tried previously with having the suction mount on this bike, if I'll put a little picture up for you, mate, having that sort of view of the bike and with yourself, which I think will be very easy with the with that camera that you've got, the fact that it's the GoPro sort of shape. But I think you are getting as bad as me when it comes to the amount of cameras. I'm wanting cameras all over the place. Like now I've obviously got this one on the rear, I've got the one on my helmet, I've also got another GoPro at home, and I will be getting another camera at some point for when I'm on the XVS, but I might have that permanently mounted, I don't know yet. It's like I mentioned previously, it's about striving for the absolute best that you can deliver and making something a little bit more interesting, either a new camera angle or just a new way of doing something. It's always interesting to people that follow you because it's something new to them. But yeah, no, I like that view, mate. It was it looked a bit iffy when you took your foot off the board, but it was actually quite interesting when it was on. It wasn't as shaky as I thought it would be. I thought it would have been a bit more bumpier than that, but no, it was good. But again, yeah, back to what I was saying about the comment that either someone had made, or that Skeggy mentioned in his video about someone being too old to be a motovlogger. Nah, like I say, it's bullshit. I think the only people that are too old for anything are bitter people that are bitter about life, that are bitter about bikes, they're just bitter in general. They're pretty much too bitter. They're too old for society. If they happen to be bitter and they're 24 or 25, they're too old for society. Get rid of them. Chuck them in the dump, leave them. It's those people that we could do without. But in my experience with motovlogs so far, I mean, most of my audience isn't really motovlogging. Most of the audience that I've got through this channel is to do with the Lightroom tutorial that I put up. And at some point, as soon as I get to a certain amount of subscribers, I will be putting more content up. So the like I said before as well in other videos, my motovlogging is more of an outlet for me rather than always trying to build an audience. But I always try and improve on what I've done previously, or try and add something different. It's something to keep me interested, as well as maybe new people, or maybe try and attract other viewers. So that's how I see motovlogging for me, and I mean it's very male orientated, my percentage for my motovlogging videos. I mean, some have got higher amounts, some have got very pathetic amounts of views, but most of it's male oriented. I can't even say that, oriented, if that is the word. Anyway, whereas my camera stuff it's split somewhat evenly, but a little bit more in the male favour. Age-wise, it's I think it was 24 to 35 or 25 to 36 or whatever the bracket was in YouTube for my motovlogs, and then for my camera stuff, it's varied from the youngest age YouTube shows to the bloody hell, that's a bit bumpy, to the older age that YouTube shows. And something else, I think I put it in the comments, Skeggy, about your XJ. Initially I started watching your channel because of the fact that you ride an XVS. It is my all-time favourite bike, and the fact that your bike sounds amazing, it's something else as well. So I mean, you will get some people that will only watch the channel because you're on the XVS, because they absolutely love that bike, and the fact that you ride it and own that bike, and when I say own it, not as in purchase, but own it as in you show the bike who's boss sort of thing, it's yeah, I mean, you will get viewers that will only watch for that, and I believe sometimes that may be the reason why my subscriber base isn't improving as much as I'd hope it would regarding content. And that's because obviously I'm on a scooter. Who wants to see someone riding around on a 125 scooter blabbing away? But then again, at the same time, I mean, I watch your videos when you're on the XJ just as much as on the XVS, but I do prefer watching the ones with the XVS. Because I am, for the whole video, I'm looking at my all-time favourite bike, and I'm listening to my all-time favourite bike. So that may be a reason why there is not as many views on the XJ as there is on the XVS. But again, yeah, I'll watch them all, mate, whether I comment or not. It's just whether I'm in the mood to actually comment, or if I've actually got something to say. Or sometimes if I've got a bit more to say than I can be asked to type, I'll do a video instead. Although that does take a hell of a lot longer to obviously record the video, say it all and edit it and get it online, but it is what it is. But I'll tell you what would be nice on your XJ is if you had a louder exhaust on there. Just a thought. So anyway, yeah, that was my 2 cents on it all. I say I don't think the age thing really matters, and you know, sometimes I ask questions like I want to know what people's sort of favourite content is and the amount of time and how often, and that's not because I'm going to change how I do things. It's just I'm just intrigued at what other people think to how I think. But yeah, like I said, it's the only people I have a problem with in the biking community is bitter people. People that are bitter about life and bitter about everything other than what they're doing. Those are the only people that I have an issue with when it comes to motovlogging. Or people that just moan all the time. Like I say, yeah, it is a bit of an outlet for me. I moan a lot. I bitch and moan about all sorts. But at the same time, it's not all I do. But like I say, I see this as an outlet. But I don't bitch and moan about other bikers and put other bikers down for what they are. So yeah, as I said, that's my 2 cents of the day. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to see any more of the videos, click on channel and clip videos, and they're all there. Alright, take care everyone, have a good day and ride safe.